DJ anapokwenda kujiandaa anasema kwamba kuna kidubwasha chake ambacho kinafaa kupandisha mzuka, kilikuwa kidogo kimeleta mushkili. Kumbukeni kwamba hafla hii itakuwa mubashara, ukipenda live, ndani ya runinga yako kipenzi ya NTV, na kuanzia muda wa saa 5 hivi utakuwa unajitazama. Kwa hivyo ujifunze kutabasamu mapema Kamera zetu zikikufikia pale, ukionekana kidogo umesinya na kuweka mikunjo kwenye uso, utakuwa unachoma kamera zetu. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa live mubashara moja kwa moja ndani ya NTV ili kuweza kuiadhimisha siku hii na Wakenya wengine ambao hawajafika mahali hapa kwa sababu moja au nyingine, watakuwa wanatazama na kufuatilia matukio haya ya siku hii ya kimataifa ya kupambana na ufisadi nchini Kenya na kote duniani. Kumbuka kwamba pia EACC ni taasisi moja pamoja na mengine chini ya mwavuli wa CLIF, ukipenda Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum, ambao ni mwavuli wa viongozi na asasi ambazo zimejumuika kupambana na ufisadi. Kauli yao mbiu na kibwagizo kikiwa ni pamoja tudumishe maadili Pamoja tudumishe maadili. Jamani, katika muda usio mrefu tutakuwa tunaanza taratibu kabisa, tukiwa tunapanga itifaki hapa na pale. DJ 23. Imekuwa safari ndefu ya miaka 20 na hii leo tutakuwa tunakwenda kufahamu na kujua ni hatua zipi ambazo zimepigwa, lakini naona kule nje bado kuna watu hawajapiga hatua walio kwenye mahema. Sidhani kama kuna chakula kinagawanywa kule ili kuweza kuwatoa hapa, lakini naomba sote tuingie ndani kwa sababu tunakwenda kuanza katika muda usiokuwa mrefu hafla yetu ya siku ya leo, tukiwa tunapanga itifaki. Nafahamishwa kwamba kutakuwa na matumbuizo ya hali ya juu hapa, kutakuwa na michezo ya kuigiza, kutakuwa na kwaya ya kaunti ya Murang'a Mondo wenyeji wetu, lakini pia kuna kina mama wa Iyego ambao wamekuja kutuonyesha kwamba ni kwa nini wanaitwa Iyego katika utumbuizaji wao. Nimekufahamisha kwamba tutakuwa mubashara katika muda usiokuwa mrefu ndani ya NTV, runinga kipenzi chako. Kwa hivyo tengeneza tabasamu lako, kama umekuja na poda, toa, jipambe pambe kidogo, fanya upodozi ili ukionekana kwenye runinga watu wa nyumbani waseme kweli yule ni baba, kweli yule ni mamangu, kweli yule ni dadangu anapendeza kwenye runinga, au sio? Usianze kukunja kunja hapo uso ni kana kwamba umepatikana na sakata ya ufisadi. Hapa hatuja kuja hapa kukuwekea mtego tukushike. Tumekuja hapa kukufunza jinsi ya kupambana na ufisadi, au sio? Kwa hivyo sote tuwe tayari katika muda usiokuwa mrefu. Itifaki inaandaliwa na kupigwa msasa, alafu mara moja tuweze kuanza ratiba yetu maalum hii ya kupambana, siku ya kupambana na ufisadi. DJ nipe kibao kimoja alafu nitakuwa nachukua, tuanze rasmi kwenye dakika 5 zijazo. DJ wangu, iwapo unanisikia, wape kitu waweze kuchangamka na kusimama watu wacheze Wainue wale ambao wamekaa kwenye viti vyao. Najua viti vimegharimu sana ESC, lakini tunaweza kuviacha kwa angalau dakika 5 kidogo, tusimame tujue kweli tuko hapa, au sio? Twende kazi DJ.
Thai thathaia Ngai witũ thai. Thai thathaia Ngai witũ thai. Thai thathaia Ngai witũ thai. Mwene Nyaga we ũikaraga kũu kĩrĩma-inĩ gacurĩrĩ kũrĩa igũrũ ma mũmbi wa igũrũ na thĩ na indo ciothe cionekaga. Nĩ tuoka mbere yaku rũcinĩ rũrũ twĩ ciana ciaku na ndungata ciaku nĩ ũndũ wa bũrũri ũyũ mwega watũheire. Tũkĩrora kĩrĩma gĩa Kĩrĩnyaga kũrĩa kumaga ira rĩrĩa rĩrathimaga na rĩgatheria andũ othe a thĩ. Tũrore kĩa Biroiro kũrĩa kumaga matunda mothe awa mwega. Tũtingĩriganĩrwo nĩ mũtambũrũko wa Nyandarũa kũrĩa kumaga njũĩ citũ theru na tũkahota kũnyua maĩ matheru. Nĩ twagwĩta Mwene Nyaga nĩ ũndũ wa wega waku. Tũkĩririkana thirikari itũ nene ya bũrũri ũyũ witũ watũheire itongoretio nĩ Ndagĩtarĩ Samoei Ruto, ona thirikari ĩno itũ ya Mũrang'a itongoretio nĩ Mheshimiwa His Excellency Ndagĩtarĩ Kang'ata wa Irũngũ ũrĩa arĩ mwethaga wa mbarĩ ya Mũnga rika rĩa Mwangi na andũ arĩa matongoretie thirikari itũ ya Mũrang'a. Nĩ tuoka haha tũgĩkũria atĩrĩrĩ we Mwene Nyaga no twakũhoya mũno nĩ ũndũ wa gĩtũmi gĩkĩ gĩtũmĩte tũkorwo twĩ haha. Bũrũri ũyũ witũ kuma watũheire mĩaka 20 mĩthiru rĩu twĩkũngũĩra igongona rĩrĩ rĩa kũringana na ndamathi ĩno ĩgwĩtwo ungumania. Awa tũririkania maathani marĩa twaheirwo nĩ Mutha marĩa 10 tũkamarũmĩrĩra maya mothe 10 tondũ wona twamarũmĩrĩra Mwene Nyaga twĩna ũma atĩ gũtirĩ ungumania ona ũmwe ona ũngĩciarithio kana ume harĩa hothe ituri cia thĩ. Na twahoe gũtukiuga thai thathaia Ngai witũ thai. Thai thathaia Ngai witũ thai. Thai thathaia Ngai witũ thai. Kũrũagĩra.
Asante sana.
Wewe Mwenyezi Mungu ndiye ambaye kwamba tunakuabudu peke yako, na wewe Mwenyezi Mungu ndiye tunakuomba msaada. Tuongoze leo katika hafla hii ambayo kwamba ni ya kupigana na ufisadi katika njia iliyonyooka, njia ambayo kwamba itaweza kuwasaidia wananchi wa Kenya waweze kuishi bila ufisadi. Mwenyezi Mungu amemkumbusha Nabii Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam katika Qur'an tukufu alipomwambia inni ja'idun fil ardi khalifa. Mwenyezi Mungu alipowaambia malaika mimi nataka kuumba mwanadamu nimpeleke duniani, qalu, wale malaika wakamuuliza ataj'alu fiha, utampeleka mtu pale duniani man yufsidu fiha, ambaye atafanya ufisadi, wayasfiku dimaa, na atamwaga damu ya wanadamu, wa nahnu nusabbihu bihamdika, na sisi malaika tunakutaja na tunakutukuza. Qala, Mwenyezi Mungu akawaambia wale malaika inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun, mimi Mwenyezi Mungu ninayajua msiyajua. Amin. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Asante sana Sheikh. Jamani, tupige makofi kwake Mwenyezi Mungu tunapochukua vitu vyetu kukaa. Makofi jamani kwa heshima yake Mwenyezi Mungu kwa kutujalia tuweze kuifika siku ya leo, siku ya kupambana na ufisadi nchini Kenya. Nikiwa hapa juu na waona mnapendeza kweli kweli. Wakenya mpo? Wakenya wazalendo mpo? Siwasikii jameni. Hatuja kunywa chai ama namna gani? Maanake nikiangalia hapa chini namuona Mheshimiwa Gavana Irungu Kang'ata, na nilipokuwa hapa mwezi mmoja miwili iliyopita alisema kila Mkenya hapa amempatia ng'ombe 4 za maziwa. Sasa hamja kunywa chai jameni. Wakenya mpo? Nauliza tena, Wakenya mpo? Jamani, karibuni kwenye hafla hii rasmi ya siku ya kimataifa ya kupambana na ufisadi duniani hapa nchini Kenya. Mimi ndimi mwenyeji wenu siku ya leo, manake mimi ndimi ambaye nitakuwa mfawidhi wenu, mshereheshaji ama mwendesha ratiba. Kwa wasionifahamu, najulikana kama Lofty Matambo na niko hapa kwa ajili yenu. Niko hapa kuendesha ratiba hii ili mwishowe sote tuwe tumeweza kufurahia na kuelewa ni kwa nini siku ya leo tuko mahali hapa. Je, wajua kwamba Umoja wa Mataifa umetoa taarifa yake kwamba kati ya watu 5 mtu mmoja anaitisha kupokea ama kushughulikia hongo kabla ya kupata huduma zake. Ndio maana siku ya leo imekuwa muhimu sana tufike hapa ili tuweze kuisherehekea siku hii na kupata mawaidha, maoni pamoja na hotuba kutoka kwa waliotualika mahali hapa na waendesha shughuli hii ambayo bila shaka haingewezekana bila ushirikiano wa wafadhili wetu wakiwa wamealikwa na kushirikiana na tume ya kupambana na ufisadi nchini EACC pamoja na kuangalia maadili. Sasa nataka niwafunze kitu kabla tuingie katika matumbuizo kidogo. Tunapokaribia walio nyuma tuweze kujaza mbele. Haya, karibuni sana walio nyuma jameni, tuweze kujaza mbele, manake hata ile karamu katika Biblia walioalikwa kulipobaki nafasi walitumwa nje kwenda kuita watu kujae huku mbele. Tena baadaye tutarudi nyuma, manake nasikia nyuma ndo kuna mankuli, sijui kama yapo kweli Karibuni sana jameni, tutulie. Waliopata nafasi za kukaa tuweze kukaa ili kuweza kuanza rasmi tunapoingia katika tumbuizo za siku ya leo. Asanteni sana. Sasa nataka tujifunze kibwagizo fulani hapa, manake naona tumepoa kidogo. Nikisema EACC sote tunajibu tuangamize ufisadi, tuijenge Kenya. Mnaiona ilivyoandikwa pale? Nikisema EACC twasemaje? Tuangamize ufisadi, tuko pamoja na tumesikia sote. Haya, hicho ndo kiwagizo chetu cha siku ya leo. EACC bado sijasikia jameni. EACC safi kabisa. Nataka vile vile pia tujue kwamba hii ni mida na mishemishe ya mitandao. Kwa hivyo kabla kuendelea na sherehe, naomba kila mtu ashike simu yake mkononi hivi. Tufanye kitu kidogo. Simu yake mkononi, simu ya kisasa Smartphone, au sio? Wazee wangu wa kiama mko na smartphone? Zipo? Haya, naomba tuchukue selfie. Hii inahitajika kwenye mtandao wa EACC sasa hivi. Kitengo dijitali cha EACC kinasubiri hiyo picha. Kwa hivyo kama umekaa na mtu, kama umekaa karibu na gavana, umekaa karibu na mwenyekiti wa EACC, umekaa karibu na CEO, umekaa karibu na county commissioner namuona pale, umekaa karibu na naibu gavana ambaye anatajwa kuwa naibu gavana mchanga zaidi, Bwana Steven Unani anakuona, toa simu yako alafu piga selfie. Gavana, sikuoni kama unapiga selfie ama uko analog. Twende tupige hiyo selfie. Unaweza angaliza nyuma kama mimi. Kapcha watu kibao kule nyuma. Chukua selfie yako. Tuko sawa. Ingia kwenye mtandao wa Twitter ama Facebook. Fungua Twitter ama Facebook. Kama huna useme tukusaidie kudownload. Ingia kwenye mtandao wa Twitter ama Facebook. Tuko pale. Post ile picha. Maafisa wetu wa ulinzi hamtaki kupost ama hamruhusiwi mkiwa kazini mposti vitu kwenye Facebook na Twitter. Nitaongea na mkubwa wenu na rafiki yangu awaruhusu kupost kuanzia leo. Ingia kwenye mtandao wa Facebook. Post ile picha. Leo mwenyekiti wangu askofu Bwana David, leo tuna trend leo kwenye EACC, au sio? Hata askofu ameweka dole. Tuna trend leo. Andika hashtag United Against Corruption KE. Hiyo ni ya kwanza. Usiposte, nataka tuweke hashtag zote zifuatane. Hashtag ya pili United Against Corruption. Hiyo peke yake. Tumeweka. Hashtag ya tatu IACD 2023. Hiyo ina maana International Anti-Corruption Day 2023, IACD 2023. Hashtag ya tano ambayo ni wafadhili wetu hawa kuu, UNCAC 20. Wenyewe wanasema UNCAC 20. Hashtag ya mwisho plead yetu. Plead yetu. Najua wazungu ni wengi hapa, najua kuandika. Ushaandika hizo? Bado? Na wapeleka mbio kidogo. Wakenya mpo? Wafisadi mpo? Asante sana, hawapo. Mko wange kweli kweli. Asante. Haya. Wazalendo mpo? Haya. Tumeshaandika hizo. Hebu mgeukie mwenzako anakaa haja nikaangalia kwa simu yake. Leo tunafanya loyalty test. Angalia simu yake kama ameandika hizo hashtag Na huyo unamwangalia anakaa mfisadi hivi. Wewe muangalie tena. Cheki hiyo sura. Inakaa ya mulungula Leo tunapambana nayo hiyo sura. Hakuondoki mfisadi siku ya leo. Maana hapa tunawafunza, afisa mkuu mtendaji Bwana Twalib Mbaraka atawafunza kwa nini ufisadi si mzuri. Ukicheza natoa kwenye orodha yake next. Mliona orodha ya jana. Ukiwa hutakubaliana mambo ya sheria, askofu yuko David anakuombea. Yaani hapaondoki mtu na ufisadi leo hapa. Makofi jamani kwa uongozi wetu wa EACC. Yako wapi? Makofi tena. Asanteni sana. Tushapiga hizo hashtag Aya tuposti sasa. Ziende zipeperuke Tupost Aya zimekwenda pale zote. Kwa hivyo tuna trend sasa, tuna trend Au sio? Asanteni sana. Kwa hivyo kama nilivyokujuzeni, nitakuwa nawapatia kwa muktasari tu ni kwa sababu gani tuko hapa, alafu niweze kuwatambua wafadhili wetu, tena baadaye tupate tumbuizo. Kwa hivyo kikundi cha County Staff Choir kiwe tayari, manake nyinyi sasa ndio mnafungua kabisa mkoko unapokwenda kualika maua Jamani, siku ya leo tuko hapa kwa hisani na ushirikiano wa Tume ya Maadili na Kupambana na Ufisadi EACC chini ya uongozi kama nilivyotaja wa mwenyekiti wa tume hiyo ambaye ni Askofu Daktari David Oginde pamoja na makamishna wake wasiopungua 4, alafu afisi ambayo inaongozwa na afisa mkuu mtendaji wa tume hii ya EACC Bwana Twalib Mbaraka. Afisi hii iko na matawi ukipenda majimbo 11 nchini Kenya, na tutakuwa baadaye tunawasimamisha wa viongozi pia kuwapigia makofi kwa sababu wanafanya kazi kuntu sana. Kwa hivyo vita hivi dhidi ya ufisadi chini ya EACC havifanyiki Nairobi pekee. Tuna matawi kama vile Mombasa, ukiwa kule piga ripoti, kuna Nyeri, kuna Malindi, tuko na tawi la Isiolo, kuna Garissa, kuna Machakos, Nakuru, sijakwambia Nakuru, sijakwambia Eldoret, bila kusahau Kisii, lakini pia kuna Kisumu na funga kazi ni Bungoma. Makofi tena jamani kwa EACC kwa kuwa katika maeneo haya yote kupambana na ufisadi. Tume hii ya EACC chini ya katiba mpya iliweza kubuniwa mwaka 2011 na kuweza kupatiwa jukumu la kuweza kuongoza Wakenya kuwa na maadili, haswa chini ya sehemu ya 6 ya katiba ya maadili na uongozi, lakini pia zaidi kupambana na ufisadi. Jukumu lao kubwa zaidi kama nilivyokutajieni ni kwamba kuwaunganisha Wakenya ili kuangamiza ufisadi na kuijenga Kenya. Tume hii ya kupambana na ufisadi na maadili vile vile pia imekuwa ikitoa mwongozo na kutoa orodha za watu wafisadi katika hali ya kutangaza, kuwasifia waadilifu na kuwaaibisha wakosaji. Naming them and shaming them. Au sio? Kumekuwa na orodha ya fame na shame. Kweli urongo bwana mwenyekiti? Orodha bado haipo. Kwa hivyo tuwe yange hapo, unaweza ondoka hapo uingie kwenye ile orodha ya moto wa milele ya shame Uvuka mpaka uingie mbinguni kwenye orodha ya fame. Au sio? Katika kuadhimisha siku hii uhakikishe kwamba maadili yako imara. Sehemu ya 3 ibara ya kwanza ya katiba ambayo ni sehemu ya sheria ya maadili na kupambana na ufisadi ya mwaka 2011 ikaipatia nguvu EACC kufanya inachokifanya hadi siku ya leo. Lakini siku hii haiadhimishwi na Kenya peke yake, inaadhimishwa kote ulimwenguni chini ya Umoja wa Mataifa, ikiwa ni tarehe 9 mwezi wa 12 mwaka 2023, na kila mwaka tunafanya hivi. Hii ni awamu ya 20. Sema awamu ya 20 ama mwaka wa 20 ambao tunafuatilia makubaliano na mkataba ambao ulitiwa saini mwaka wa 2003 katika nchi ya Mexico. Cha kufurahisha zaidi ni kwamba Kenya ilikuwa ya kwanza kutia ile saini. Tutakuwa tunaambiwa ni kwa nini, na ndio maana tuko hapa. lakini itakuwa vyema zaidi kwa sababu tumepata muktadha ni kwa nini tuko hapa, niweze kuwataja jameni washiriki wetu wa siku ya leo, na tutakuwa tunawapigia makofi Jamhuri yetu ya Kenya jameni, kwa kuturuhusu kuwa na hafla hii. Tuko na County Commissioner yuko hapa, tupigie makofi Jamhuri yetu ya Kenya kwa kuturuhusu kuwa mahali hapa. Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum ambao wanajulikana kama CLIF ni mwavuli wa kuwaunganisha viongozi wote na mashirika ambao wako tayari kupambana na ufisadi. Makofi kwa CLIF jameni. Kauli yao mbiu wanasema pamoja tufanye nini? Tudumishe maadili. Sema pamoja tudumishe maadili. Lakini pia tuko na kaunti ya Murang'a ambao ndio wenyeji wetu jameni, chini ya uongozi wa Gavana Kang'ata. Makofi kwao jameni Katika ngazi za kimataifa pia tuko na UNODC jameni, tuwapigie makofi kwa kuweza kwa wafadhili wetu wakubwa. Lakini pia tuko na APNA, ukipenda APNAC. Makofi kwao jameni kwa kuweza kushiriki. Lakini mshiriki mkubwa kabisa ambaye amefika mahali hapa ni wewe Mkenya mzalendo. Makofi kwako jameni. Asanteni sana. Waswahili wanasema mchimba kisima huingia na wakwao. Tuko pamoja, na mchuma janga pia hula na wakwao. Kwa hivyo tusichimbe kisima cha ufisadi. Huu ujumbe uko katika wimbo ambao unakuja kuimbwa tukitumbuizwa tumbuizo la kwanza na wanawake ambao wanajiandaa, lakini kwanza ni county staff choir kutoka county hii ya Murang'a. Uwanja ni wewe jamani, mnapokuja mahali hapa. Wako wapi wafanyikazi wa county ya Murang'a? Tuwapigie makofi wanapokuja hapa. Makofi kwao jamani, tusichoke mpaka waje hapa uweza kututumbuiza tupande pale jukwaani kwa mwendo wa aste aste. Na waona wamepiga shati tao, kipenda t-shirt maridadi kabisa ambayo imeandikwa maandishi, jumbe, logo na nembo za siku ya leo zikiongozwa na EACC pale katika mabega yao na vidari vyao. Karibuni sana wanakwaya.
Asante. Nipo ngapi?
Nimeambiwa kwamba mko na nyimbo moja. Sawa. Poleni. Wimbo mmoja kwa wanakwaya hawa wa kaunti ya Murang'a. Naambiwa wamekesha kwa mwezi mzima wakijitayarisha, na wanavyosema fungaye kiwewe siburi ana mchezo. Tuone mchezo wao. Mko tayari jameni? Twendeni kazi.
Asante Mungu wangu kwa kuniumba na kunipa nchi ya Kenya nzuri sana, nchi yenye amani. Twafurahia sana nchi yetu ya Kenya, nchi inayopendeza yenye mazingira bora, wananchi wazalendo, wananchi watukufu. Kenya niko nyumbani, acheni tuilinde. Mwananchi mzalendo anayependa nchi yake, anayejali nchi yake, hapendi ufisadi, hapendi uporaji, haibi mali ya umma, hatumii ofisi yake kufanya mabaya. Yeye ni mwaminifu, tena yeye ni shujaa. Huyo ndiye mzalendo wa uadilifu wake. Ufisadi tutawezaje kuliua? ya kupigana na ufisadi.
Mambo kuwekwa wazi, kutenda haki kwa wote.
Njia nyingine ya kulinda uporaji.
Kujali
Kweli, inatufanya tuwe watu waadilifu. Tuwajibike, tujumuike, kila mmoja achukue jukumu lake. Tupigane vita vikali, tuhakikishe zimu hili limekufa. Tuwajibike, tujumuike, kila mmoja achukue jukumu lake. Tupigane vita vikali, tuhakikishe zimu hili limekufa. Asante Mungu wangu kwa kuniumba na kunipa nchi ya Kenya nzuri sana, nchi yenye amani. Twafurahia sana nchi yetu ya Kenya, nchi inayopendeza yenye mazingira bora, wananchi wazalendo, wananchi watukufu. Kenya ndiko nyumbani, acheni tuilinde.
Makofi jameni, makofi kwao. Nilikuwa nimeambiwa kwamba walikuwa na vibao viwili, kwa hivyo labda tuwapatie ruhusa wapige cha mwisho, alafu kikundi kinachofuata cha Full Raha kiweze kuingia kibao cha mwisho.
najivunia nchi yangu ya Kenya.
Nafurahia Kenya yangu,
Kenya kipenzi ni nchi ya ajabu,
nafurahisha na kupendeza.
kitazama pembe zote za Kenya,
Naona nchi ya metameta,
maendeleo tumezidi kupata,
na nchi yetu yasonga mbele.
ni kwa nini Kenya yasonga mbele?
Ni kwa sababu ya usalama.
Usalama huu watoka wapi?
Watoka kwa uongozi bora,
Tuendelee kuijenga nchi yetu,
na tudumishe umoja wetu,
usiharibu nchi yetu ya Kenya,
kwa sababu twataka amani.
tuendelee kuijenga nchi yetu,
Na tudumishe umoja wetu,
usiharibu nchi yetu ya Kenya.
kwa sababu twataka amani.
Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu.
Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu. Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu.
Kenya nchi tuliyopewa na Mungu, siku zote mimi nitakutumikia.
Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu. Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu.
Nikitupa macho yangu popote Kenya, ninaona vile nchi inapendeza.
Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu. Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu.
Ni wajibu wetu sisi zote wa Kenya kuilinda nchi yetu wakati wote.
tuliyopewa na Mungu.
Tusiache machafuko yafike Kenya, kwa sababu hatutaki mateso kwetu.
Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu. Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu.
Kenya yetu sasa yote inametameta.
Hiyo ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu Baba.
Watoto wetu Kenya wanametameta.
Hiyo ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu Baba.
Yetu Kenya yanametameta.
Hiyo ni baraka kutoka kwa Baba.
Tulio yanametameta.
Hiyo ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu Baba.
Mungu Mwenyezi kwa hayo yote.
Hiyo ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu Baba.
Amani izidi kudumu kwetu Kenya.
Hiyo ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu Baba.
Ufisadi wetu.
Hiyo ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu Baba.
Kanena uporaji kwetu Kenya.
Hiyo ni baraka kutoka kwa Mungu Baba.
Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu.
Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu. Nimeshaapa kulinda Kenya, nchi yetu tuliyopewa na Mungu.
Gavana, uko na kwaya master hapa. Umesikia hiyo beza? Unijumuishe katika kwaya yako. Makofi jameni kwa wanakwaya hawa maridadi. Mashababu nawaona pale, magulamu wakiwa wanateremka pamoja na mabanati, kwa maana wake kwa waume. Semeni tujifunze Kiswahili. Mabanati na magulamu mnawaona wanavyopendeza. Asanteni sana. Pia ningependa kutambua uwepo wa mkuu wa kaunti ama kamishna wa kaunti Bwana Patrick Mkuria ambaye ni mmoja wa wenyeji wetu, lakini pia katibu wa madini Bwana Elijah Mwangi ambaye waziri wake wa madini na uchumi majini, si uchumi samawati, wanaosema hivyo wanakosea, uchumi majini, Bwana Salim Mvuri anajua kwamba yuko hapa kumwakilisha, lakini pia katibu Nixon Korir amewakilishwa na katibu mratibu Bwana Mohamed Maalim. Jamani, karibuni sana. Nitakuwa naendelea kuwataja wageni wetu kadri wanapofika. Kikundi kiko tayari hapo nyuma. Haya, tuonyesheni mambo yenu jamani, mnavyotutumbuiza.
Tiga leidwe kata cia migoda Nairobi tuturayo ni kata cia migoda. Wacha nikwambia sasa, kwa sababu hii shamba naona vile iko sasa na mzee ameaga na hakuniwachia, mimi nitaendelea tu kulis. Tu nimejaribu kuiuza na haimuziki. Sasa nataka nitafute mbinu vile nitagawa hii shamba, nianze kuikata maploti. Shida yangu moja kubwa ni kwamba title deed hakugeuza, na kabla wenzangu wale wengine warudi, ningependa hii shamba iwe katika jina yangu. Sijui nitageuza hii title aje, kwa sababu hii ndio maneno yananisumbua. Ningetaka kuuza, lakini ile kitu inanisumbua ni ati pengine ni lease. I'm only leasing, and that is little money. That is only thousands. Although ni mingi. Acha nipigie simu, unajua mali ikiwa mingi inabidi utafute kabibi mkule na yeye. Let me call one of these. Let me find me a woman. What shall I do now?
Ay, unyu.
Like me.
Unyu.
Aya.
Wewe wacha mchezo.
Aya, my brother from another mama.
Shika hii.
Kata nitakupigia.
Aya. Long time.
Ngoja, honera.
Acha unaniweka sana kula.
My brother from another mother.
Sasa nimekuja nyumbani ndo.
Tutikero toria ithio mwe. We cannot told you we same papa.
Vijana wa Ole Kevutio.
Umetembea eh?
Mimi nimekuja nyumbani, nimetoka mbali.
Na mbona umeparara unakaa umeyoyoma?
Sasa unajua mashida, nimetoka mbali sana. Unajua wakati tulitoka hapa, sisi tulienda Narok, alafu nikahamia huko Kerisho kidogo. Sasa ndio maji imekuja imebeba kila kitu shule.
Yote mafuriko
nabeba vitu yangu yote. Hata hii ni vile nilikuwa nimeficha. Unajua mimi nakwanga mjanja sana.
Wewe si mjanja, ungejenga boat. Maji ikikuja unajenga boat unaishi huko.
Washa mchezo. Sasa unajua ile kitu hata imenileta nyumbani. Hii kashamba baba aliruachia hapa. Ndio sasa nilikuwa nataka hata unipatie kabisa kidogo. Naona hata unalea kuku.
Kuku nitakuchinjia moja. Na uende na nyingine.
Kwanza nataka hii yenye ina manyoya kwa shingo. Hii ndio nataka.
Inaitwa mchunu.
Sasa tuache story mingi. Sasa mimi nataka unipatie hiyo kashamba kidogo. Angalia wana mjenga. Na teseka sana na
wewe. Go stop, hold your horses. Stop right there.
Unaniita horse?
Ati umesema nini?
Unaniita horse?
Umetaja kuku, hiyo iko sawa. Tiki kuku utakula na upepe. Shamba hapo ndipo kuna shida hapo.
Wewe unanikasirisha wewe. Mimi nataka shamba, wewe umeanza maneno yake.
Wewe mwesile ya migoda yote ni yanyu. Wewe
unanitambua.
Wacha nikwambie sasa.
Wacha nikuje na maasira wewe. Nataka shamba.
Hivyo
sisi wacha nikuje na shamba wewe. Wewe. Wacha nikuje na shamba.
Wewe kabisa. Hii shamba itabidi niuze kwa sababu hawa wakianza kuminyemelea, itakuwa na nini? Hiyo
yetu. Na mimi ndiye chief wa hii kijiji yote. Kwa hivyo, kwa hii boma ndio tunaingia, inaitwa ya mzee mwingine alikuwa ameaga, lakini kijana wake ako huko.
Madam Shibo. Madam Shibo.
Huyo.
Habari yako? Uzuri ni mwasera.
Tumekuta.
Leo hata hela kama ndio kuigwete nilikuwa natafuta Habari yako?
Hiyo sio ile mambo nimetuleta hapa.
Ikaagera.
Si unajua mimi ni Madam Chief.
Nakuelewa. Na direge.
Sasa natembeza huyu afisa wa mashamba katika hii location yetu.
Mashamba.
Akuja hapa awaambie maneno ya mashamba. Sasa atakwambia anaitwa nani, atakwambia anafanyanga kazi wapi, alafu hiyo ingine tutaongea.
Hiyo ingine tutaongea. Tuko na mambo mingi ya kuongea.
Asante sana. Habari yako? Nzuri. Mimi naitwa Miss Tunda.
Uongo.
Acha nikuonyeshe.
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo.
Acha nikuonyeshe vile tutafanya. Sheria iko.
Iko sheria.
Chukua simu yako. Kuna toll free number ya EACC, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Dial.
Hebu niambie hiyo namba.
1551. Kipiga kwa ofisi, hiyo ni ofisi. Kuna mwenye atachukua ataweza kupiga sahihi.
Wewe utaenda hii shamba tunataka.
Goja.
Uko hapa bara atikitauni.
Hello officer. Habari yako? Mimi ni area chief. Sasa kuna shida kidogo imetokea hapa kwa location yangu. Ndio nataka ukuje unisaidie. Kuja. Unajua kwa hiyo mzee anaitwa Mr. Huyo mzee wa boma hii kubwa anaitwa Mr. Kevutio. Unajua hapo. Kuja haraka sana. Sawa.
Niguo ndimuhore muri aige. Kujeni niwapige mkiwa wengi
Huyo unajua utashikwa tu na utapelekwa ndani.
Madam Chief, hamjambo. Asante sana. Ni wewe umenipigia simu? Okay. Asante. Na mimi nimefika.
Sasa
nini inaendelea?
Tumekuja hapa, huyu ni afisa wa mashamba, amekuja kuelimisha watu habari ya mashamba, lakini tumekuta huyu kijana anaitwa Hunyo wa mzee wa hii boma, lakini aliaga. Sasa alikuwa anataka kumhonga ili abadilishe jina iwe yake, title deed iwe yake na asiwe mtu mwingine wanagawana.
Wewe kijana, unajua kuhonga afisa wa serikali ni hatia? Unajua hivyo?
Wamehongwa na nani? Wewe umehongwa na nani wewe? Nani amemhonga? Si ni
afisa, ongea. Ati uko na evidence? Tuambie.
Hata mimi amenigonga. Hata mimi amenigonga.
Ndani hiyo ni kionjo.
Ngoja hiyo yote tutasawazisha tu hapa.
Nato akawe nako. What are you here? Haya.
Haya. Utasema hiyo ni uongo? Si imesikika kwamba ni wewe ulikuwa unaongea hapa. Haya. Wacha niwaambie wewe ndugu yake na nyinyi wengine wote, kutoa hongo ni makosa. Vile vile kuchukua hongo ni makosa. Na nimeona afisa umefanya vizuri sana kwa kukataa kuchukua hiyo hongo. Nina hakika hata mambo yako tutajaribu kuinua kule kwa ofisi, sababu tumeona kwamba wewe ni mzalendo halisi. Haya, wacha niwaambie, kama una shida yoyote ya kuhongwa ama kuhongana, unastahili kupiga namba 1551. La sivyo utembee katika afisi za EACC. Na kama huko karibu, unaweza pia enda Huduma Center ambapo utakuta afisa wetu hapo katika Huduma Center na atakusaidia. Kwa hivyo kutoa hongo, mjue sio maneno ya busara. Umeelewa? Haya, pamoja tuangamize
ufisadi, tujenge Kenya.
Tena pamoja tuangamize ufisadi, tujenge Kenya.
Mbona ndio hao wasemi? Tuseme pamoja.
Pamoja tuangamize
ufisadi,
tujenge Kenya. Sasa wewe upelekwe hadi police station, alafu kotini, alafu ndio ufunguliwe mashtaka. Mara moja twende. Beba yeye. Beba.
Makofi jameni. Wameweza hawajaweza? Bila shaka tumbuizo la kukata na choka. Makofi kwao jameni. Kinajulikana kama kikundi cha Full Raha. Simepata raha? Full Raha Entertainment Crew. Makofi kwao jameni, mpaka wende kakae chini Asanteni sana jameni, na ndio kilele cha tumbuizo letu siku ya leo. Ningependa ambaye atakuwa anasherehesha na kufuata itifaki kutoka hapo, ambaye ni msimamizi mkuu mwelekezo wa shughuli za nyanjani za EACC Bwana Jackson Mwe akijiandaa OGW, au sio? Wacha niseme hapo isije nikamwaga unga. Ningependa pia kutambua uwepo wa msimamizi na mwakilishi wa United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, ambao ni washiriki wakubwa siku ya leo, UNODC, Bi Charity Kagwi Ndongo. Jamani, leta tusalimia hapo ulipo, tukone kwa mkono. Asanteni sana kwa kumpigia makofi. Alafu pia ningependa kutambua uwepo wa Bwana Paul Muraya, ambaye bila shaka ni katibu mratibu ambaye anamwakilisha katibu katika afisi na wizara ya maeneo kame, ukipenda arid and semi arid, Bwana Harsama Kelo. Asante sana. Lakini pia ningependa kutambua uwepo wa kamanda wa polisi katika eneo hili, Regional Police Commander, ambaye ni Bwana Bilidia Ligama. Makofi kwake anaponyosha mkono popote alipo. Asante sana Bilidia. Na mwisho kabisa ningependa kutambua uwepo wa Mudhama wa Mbu, ambaye yuko mahali hapa pia, ambaye ni katibu mratibu vile vile katika wizara ya ulinzi. Lakini pia kwa sababu shughuli hii haingefanyika bila mahakama ya kupambana na ufisadi na shughuli zingine za kiuchumi, ukipenda Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes High Court, wako hapa wanamwakilisha Judge Justice Esther Maina. Makofi kwao jameni wakiwa hapa. Naam, na bila kupoteza muda, wanaosema staki hata punje ya mtama imshinde kuku kuimeza kwa kuchukua muda wake. Ningependa kumkaribisha kwa makofi jameni, tumkaribishe kwa taadhima mwendesha ratiba Jackson Mwe OGW. Karibu sana bwana. Asante.
Thank you, Lofty, for that first part of the program. Now we want to move to the next session, where we are going to hear from our leaders. Allow me to start with protocols. The Governor of Murang'a, Your Excellency Dr. Irungu Kang'ata, the Chairperson EACC, Dr. David Oginde, the CEO EACC, Mr. Twalib Barak, the EACC Commissioners, the PS, State Department for Mining, Mr. Elijah Mwangi, the County Commissioner, Murang'a County, the Deputy Speaker, senior public officials from the national government, senior public officials from the county government, CLIP stakeholders, distinguished participants, good morning. At this point, we want to move to start with our speeches. And the first person who will speak will be the representative of the national government in Murang'a, and this is the county commissioner, Mr. Patrick Mukuria. After Mr. Patrick Mukuria, on behalf of the national government, I will also give 2 minutes to the PS, State Department for Mining, to make a short statement. Welcome, County Commissioner.
Thank you very much. His Excellency Dr. Irungu Kang'ata, the Chairman EACC, Dr. David Oginde, Mr. Twalib Barak, CBS Secretary, CEO EACC, the PS Mining, Elijah Mwangi, the representative of the PS Defense, Mr. Mudhama Wambua, representative of the PS Lands, Mr. Malim, Honorable Johnson Mukuha, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Murang'a or his representative, Nail, Regional Representative, African Heads, Regional Representative for East African, UNODC, heads of departments from both the national government and county government, members of the public, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Patrick Mukuria, the County Commissioner, Murang'a County. And if you allow me, I'll start by introducing my team. We have a person who is representing the Inspector General of Police. Madam, maybe you can come and just mention your name, then maybe the county security team. Just to say your name, please.
All protocols observed. My name is Lydia Ligami, the Regional Police Commander, Central Region. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to this region, and we are in solidarity with the event. Thank you so much.
All protocols observed. My name is Jeremiah Abuga. Thank you very much. SIP Commander, Murang'a County.
Kipkoske Daniel from Kenya Wildlife Service, representing Regional Director, Central Region. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is George Etiang, DCIO representing the CCIO. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is a regional team led by the county police commander and also the county team. Let me read my speech, then maybe I'll add one or two things thereafter. It is a wonderful opportunity to be here for this important celebration. I'm aware that bringing together so many stakeholders and individuals from diverse organizations and departments to celebrate an issue of common interest is no small undertaking, and for that, I wish to sincerely thank the organizers of this event, EACC, Kenya Leadership Integrity, County Government of Murang'a, among others. Let me also appreciate the sensitization forums that have taken place for the heads of departments, the human resource officers, and public lecture as a build-up to today's celebration. It is important to mention right from the onset that when corruption permeates the society, then the health of the nation is at risk. Indeed, it is much larger and far more important matter beyond what we see at the moment. Individual responsibility and resolve to fight corruption are a decisive indicator of what the country will look like in terms of our security, peace, stability as a nation. As you are aware, various stakeholders have been tasked with the responsibility of fighting these menace. However, there is always room for improvement in terms of what mwananchi is looking for, without being asked for kitu kidogo. The challenge that are still being encountered by the mwananchi when seeking for government services can be eliminated with all of us with one resolve: decide to say enough is enough. Ask for money on the road, but then they are no longer on the road. They will go in the evening in a certain place and exchange bribes without our knowledge. Without wananchi giving us such information, it will not be easy to deal with the vice. So that is why we are encouraging them to use all the forums provided to report cases of corruption. The public servants are urged to offer quality service to citizens without giving excuses. The old practice of absconding duty by leaving coats in offices while the citizens are looking for services must not happen. The wananchi is our employer and deserves to get value for money. It is unethical for a public service to receive a salary he has not worked for. This is also very important for us civil servants, because corruption is it's not only taking bribes. You may be working, but you are not giving the required service. A person will come to your office, you are not there. You have just hung your coat and left. So you need to account for the salary you are getting from the government. And you can link this one to even drunkenness, where you spend the whole night drinking. In the morning, you are unable to offer service. Hata ukijaribu kuamuka kichwa inakosa, unashindwa kuamuka because kichwa ni mzito, umelala ukikunywa pombe. Kwa hivyo tukiwa kama civil servants, to avoid mambo kama hayo, kwa sababu inafanya tusiweze kupatiana huduma ambao mwananchi anahitaji. Na ndio sisi kama ngao na other government departments tumekuwa tukipigana na mambo ya pombe at the community level and also among ourselves as civil servants, because some of us are in it and we have to see how we are going to deal with it, including offering rehabilitation services so that they can offer quality service. So at the end of the month when they get salary, they can be able to say, I've worked for this salary. So that is a call to our civil servants to be very vigilant. Hata Biblia Bishop inasema utavuna ulichopanda. Usijaribu kuvuna mahali hujapanda. Kwa hivyo tupeane service because this borders on issues of integrity and also the issues of values and principles of public officers as enshrined in the Constitution. Because they are very clear, the issue of professionalism and ethical values, they are not allowed. This celebration, therefore, comes at the right time when all of us have an opportunity to sit back and do a soul searching by asking whether corruption has ever brought any positive results. Instead, corruption has continued to fight back. As a result, the wananchi continue to suffer. I call on all of us to be truthfully adopt the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, theme of uniting the world against corruption to make our county and the country prosper. Once again, I thank the EACC for giving Murang'a this honor of hosting the International Anti-Corruption Celebration. I want to take this opportunity to wish all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2024. I thank you.
Thank you, County Commissioner, for those remarks. In a minute, I want to invite the PS, State Department for Mining, to come for 1 minute. The speakers will become, take not more than 2 minutes, because we also want the key speakers to be able to reach to our audience at home, because this event is live on NTV. Welcome, PS.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Governor of Murang'a County, Dr. Kang'ata, the Deputy Governor, the Chair, EACC, the CEO, all of us present. Good morning. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Let me take this opportunity to introduce the team who are representing the colleagues in the national government. Representative of the PS is around. Can we start to introduce you, please? You may join us here for just simple introduction. Welcome.
Just the name, eh? My name is Mali Mohammed, Secretary Administration, on behalf of PS Honorable Generali Nixon Korir. Salamu nyingi kutoka Wizara ya Ardhi. Na nimesikia mambo ya ufisadi katika ardhi. Mheshimiwa Governor, Murang'a ndio mahali tunakuja baada ya Nairobi. We want to go digital to make sure the interaction between members of the public and our officers is minimal. So you transact your businesses through automation in terms of titles and in terms of paying revenue. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
My name is Rashid Khator. I'm a Secretary of Administration in the State Department for Agriculture. I'm here representing the Principal Secretary, Dr. Rono. I also wish to inform you that the government is undertaking the subsidized fertilizer project. Be careful. Make sure you give the right details. Do not increase the number of acres, for that will put you in problems. For those who are able to watch TV, you notice that a number of people have been taken to court over the issue of the subsidized fertilizer. Thank you, and let us all stand together in the fight against corruption. Thank you.
My name is Mudama Wambua, Secretary of the Ministry of Defense. I'm here representing the PS, Mr. Mariro, PS in charge of Ministry of Defense. So for the Ministry of Defense, you should be able to, as you fight corruption, you should know that the security is well assured for everyone who is fighting corruption. Thank you very much.
My name is Paul Muraya, Secretary Administration, State Department for Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development. I'm here representing the PS ASALS and Regional Development, Mr. Asama Kelo. On behalf of the State Department, we want to say that we are together with EACC. We want to serve the people. And right now we are coordinating efforts for the flooding and the resettlement. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. My name is Angei Wamutinda. I'm representing the PS to Tourism, John Olatua, and the CS to Tourism and Wildlife, Dr. Ofad Mutua. Together, we are going to fight corruption and ensure that Kenya is a safe place for all of us and for investors. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm John Gogo from State Department for Higher Education and Research, representing the PS, Dr. Beatrice Nyangala. Together, we are fighting this menace, and we are happy hosting you at this university. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Samuel Mushiri from the State Department of Roads. I'm the Senior Assistant Secretary, representing the Principal Secretary, Engineer Joseph Bogwa. And together in the road sector, we are committed to promote good governance and fight corruption. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Good morning. My name is Jocelyn Menenge from the State Department for Diaspora Affairs. I'm here representing the PS. Thank you.
We can appreciate them better. Well, I'm Elijah Mwangi, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Mining. I'm pleased to join you here as we commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day. For us, as State Department for Mining, we are committed to fight corruption. In essence, on 3rd of October this year, 2023, the State Department submitted a cabinet memoranda which criminalized, and by extension, considered smuggling of minerals as an economic crime. As part of fighting crime, we want to be transparent. We have developed an online mining cadastre, which is a repository of all mining licenses, such that if you want to apply for any mining rights, you do not need to see anybody. You just go to your system, your computer, your phone, upload some documents, and then on first come, first served basis, you will be issued with license. 2, as part of fighting corruption, we are digitizing our systems. We have digitized our revenue collection system through our royalty management system, digitized laboratory system through our laboratory management system, artisanal mining system, and the likes, so that we can be able to eliminate that direct contacts between peoples whereby corruption is derived. Of course, we have also formulated a corruption policy. We have a service charter. We have reporting lines as part of this. And I join you in this year as we commemorate and as we resolve to fight corruption together. Thank you and so much. You are so much welcome to Murang'a once more.
Thank you, PS and your team. Next, we are going to have a short statement from the representative of the County Assembly, the Deputy Speaker of the County Assembly, Honorable Moses Ngachui. Okay, if he has not arrived, we are going to proceed with the program. We will consider him as we move along. Allow me at this point to recognize one of our key development partners, the UNODC, and they invite the representative of UNODC East Africa, Madam Charity Kagwe, to come and make a short statement. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Honorable Irungu Kangata, Governor of Murang'a, the Chairman EACC, the CEO EACC, kindly allow me to adopt the protocols that have already been said before, and also to appreciate the Governor for allowing us to come here to celebrate this important day, the International Anti-Corruption Day. It's not just a normal day, it's the UNCAC at 20 celebration. 20 years ago, the world came together and signed a document that said that this is a threat to the world, not just to this country, it's a threat to the world. and the ratification of this particular treaty is almost universal. That shows how serious the world takes this. Coming down here, we see now that corruption is not just an abstract thing. It is something that goes across like an octopus, an animal that's with several hands, entering each and every department that's supposed to serve the mwananchi. And I believe sometimes the mwananchi does not know how much giving that amount of money is going to affect him. Today, the play that was here was very, very interesting. It shows the culture of trying to corrupt public officials and telling them to circumvent the law without understanding that this is going to impact and affect everybody around them. For example, if that particular officer had circumvented the law, you will find yourself with people committing crimes because they have not had justice. So where you decide to take land away from people who deserve to get it, how many murder cases have we had related to land? There are very many, isn't it? So people need to understand that that little act could lead to some very, very serious consequences. And it's good that we see here under the leadership of the governor that this is something that he is taking extremely seriously. We see your work with digitalization. We see your work at making sure that how resources that are given to the county government go down to Wanjiko, to the person that counts. And that is why the people of Murang'a chose to elect you, because they had that trust that you will make sure that you live up to the promise that you gave them when they gave you your vote. For that, I congratulate you and ask that this should be something that all public officials take seriously. You are here to serve mwananchi. Your position of power is also a position of great responsibility. And for you, mwananchi, your position to be able to demand services and good services is also something that you should take seriously and understand that this is a right that is yours. As people have fought over the ages about their rights, this is one that you should be able to fight for. 20 years from now, people will not look and say UNCAC at 40 and we still have the same problem. If you ask countries around the world, you will hear that Kenya is supposed to be a wealthy country. We're not supposed to be receiving food help. We're not supposed to be receiving help. But corruption takes money away from the people that should be having it, takes money away from your children, changes weather patterns. If you all remember, during COVID, so much money was taken away. Who was it taken away from? The sick people who needed it. How many deaths resulted in this? So you see that unless people understand that this kind of crime, me giving a bribe, could lead to somebody else having a very serious consequence. There's a bribery act that has already been enacted, but I believe it needs to continue to be reported so that more people are arrested. We saw here the arresting of the particular person who wanted to bribe, and we need more of that. We need more of that. So who are we as UNODC? We are the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, but we are also the Secretariat of the Convention. Our job is to support the country in accordance with how the family of nations identify this crime and say this is something that needs the whole world to pay attention to. So you are reviewed every couple of years on the way in which you're implementing all the undertakings that were made under the UNCAC to prevent, to educate, and to punish those who are involved in corruption. Unfortunately, the culture in many of our countries has been that people get away with corruption, and I would say with murder, because they do not understand that your act could lead to somebody else having, being killed or having serious consequences. Your Excellency, I really appreciate what you told us about the education system, making sure that that is not corrupted and it does go towards those who truly need it. The money is not taken away from the most vulnerable. Because you will see, in most places, the people who suffer the most are the most vulnerable. Will be the children, will be the sick person, will be Wanjiko, will be those people in the village, and all those people who voted for you and entrusted you. So we thank you for making sure that they receive what their children could have, the promise of an education that can lift them out of poverty, that can help this country grow into the country it's supposed to be. I add here that the theme of this UNCAC is something, the UNCAC is something that we all need to take a part to play in. You heard all the state officials speaking, but we also need Mama Mboga, the one in the marketplace. We need security officers. Behind me is sitting the representative from the police. We need the politician. We need fathers. We need mothers. We need the youth. We need a corrupt-free nation. And indeed, if this nation is corrupt-free, you will see the poverty that is affecting us and eventually killing us is going to be reduced. We are not supposed to be a third world country. We, with all the resources we have, should be much further ahead. But because of all these holes that come in, that take away from the people what they deserve, we end up finding ourselves in a poverty situation. So here, as we celebrate, we say, we ask you to take the role you're supposed to do. We, as UNODC, continue to support. We, as you can see here, we are in partnership with the European Union. I want to convey their apologies for not being able to come today. But we're in partnership with a program called the Program for Legal Empowerment and Aid Delivery. This partnership is supporting the fight against corruption as one of the very main areas. We have seen unless you support the fight against corruption, you cannot support justice in a country. So we are supporting the EACC and the rest of the partners that work. Remember, this is a threat that we have recognized that is affecting all of us. It has to then be fought by all of us. So it has to be fought by EACC. EACC needs to be supported by the public who will report, needs to be supported by those who are prosecuting, and we saw the Office of the Prosecutor here. It needs to be supported by the judges, and we see here we have judges represented. It needs to be supported by all of us to fight this cancer, and what we have called actually as a security threat to this particular country. We all need to get together. I think if this was a war, a real war in which we were fighting, we would take it more seriously. It is because it comes in a seductive way, and so we don't understand what is happening to us. You don't understand that you cannot sleep in more than one bed, despite having so many houses. How will you sleep in more than one bed? We've seen people gathering, almost like gluttony, gathering towards themselves. And then, once they die, they leave their families fighting. So they have left a legacy of war and pain, instead of leaving a legacy of building the country. We will all live here. What will you have done for your generation? What will you have done for us to reach what we have said, the Sustainable Development Goals, where we are able to live together in peace and security? What will you leave for the children that come after this? The mother, the father, the young people, and I saw the very young deputy governor. What will you leave? And we ask you, take up that role as young people and fight for the future of this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Charity. Now we are going to transit to the keynote speeches, but allow me just before I invite the CEO EACC to just introduce the EACC commissioners. I just want them to, starting from the Vice Chair, you can just stand, Vice Chair. That is Dr. Monica Moiro. She's the Vice Chair of EACC. Commissioner, we have Commissioner John Ogallo, Commissioner Dr. Cecilia Mutuku, Commissioner Colonel Retired Alfred Mushimba. Directors, I can see you are seated together. You can also stand, the directors. Sir, directors of EACC. I have Director David Tor, Legal Services, Director John Lokoloi, Ethics and Leadership, Director Pascal Mweo, Investigations, Director Joel Mukumu, Finance and Planning, Director Jackson Mue, Field Services and Coordination speaking. Now, at this point, allow me to invite the Secretary CEO of EACC, Mr. Twalib Barak, to come and make his speech and continue with the rest of the program. Welcome, sir.
No, it's okay. I think they can hear me.
But okay. Be close to this one. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Murang'a, Dr. Kangata Irungu, our Chairman for the EACC, Bishop Dr. David Oginde, EACC Commissioners. For the rest, let me skip the protocols. Good afternoon. The speech says good morning, so I have to be very careful, because I know it's live. I think this is a very, very great occasion that today we are gathering here, not only as EACC, but all other players in the field of fighting corruption in this country. And we are here for a dual celebration, to mark the International Anti-Corruption Day and also to mark 20 years of the coming up of the United Nations Convention Against Crime. And maybe most of us may not be aware, Kenya was one of the first countries in the world to sign this convention. We also like to thank our partners. We have the UNODC, we have the European Union. They've been standing with us all that time to support us, because as EACC, our act allows us to partner with people who are willing to support us. And I'm not here to campaign for the governor, but there's something very interesting that I would like to mention. We did not choose Murang'a out of just because we want to come to Murang'a. We chose this county, and we went through a matrix. We have, many times we have the most corrupt countries in the world, the most developed countries, the biggest economies in the world. So we took that approach, and we said we are going to classify the counties into the color of the traffic lights. Counties that are in red, counties that are in yellow, and counties that are in green. From the counties that are in green, that is where we'll decide to choose which county will host this event. So indirectly, I've told you, this is a green county as far as the fight against corruption is concerned. I remember one of my officers choosing one county. We don't want to spill the beans, but I told him, you go to the report center and check about this county. It will be a big mockery to have this event being hosted by that county. As we are dealing with it, let us look for a county that is green. So, Governor, you earned it for us to be here. It was not just by fluke. I think in my speech, I'll just talk about the progress in the fight against corruption. I have a long speech here, but I will put it aside. I want to be more practical. The issue of fighting in government, there are ministries or departments you will never miss. You can bet you will not miss the police. You can bet you will not miss Ministry of Lands. You will not miss Health Ministry. You will not miss education, because these are the core areas where the common man gets the service. So what do we hear as ESCC? Almost all counties, governor, all counties, office in or land registrar, they slow down processes, they want to be bribed. We are tired of getting those kind of complaints. You go to places like, when it comes to things like the police, getting an OB is a problem. Why should it be a problem? When you ask the person, say, ni mambo nitoe kitu. So, county commissioner, you stood here. Don't allow from here to the main road to Nairobi 3 police roadblocks. Why? Do we need them? Those are toll stations, they are not roadblocks. We know them, they are toll stations. Police roadblocks are not roadblocks. The whole country, they are what you call toll station. When I'm on leave in Kilifi, I don't drive the Prado because they'll know I'm around. I take a simple car, and you can see openly they are taking bribes. One day at Nyali Bridge, I saw a policewoman being given 100 bob as I'm waiting for the light to read green. I feel like shouting at her, but I don't want her to know that I'm the CEO ESCC because they will mark my car. We can't allow that because Governor, Honorable Nyoro, that is what makes us to lose in the rating of Transparency International. I've traveled to about 50 countries in my life. One of the few countries in the world where you see policemen openly taking bribes is Kenya. Openly. They don't care. Openly you see them. Before we make the ambush, you see. We record secretly and we show you, look, this is how they're taking money. So as a county commissioner, the head of the county, what do you do with the OCPD? What do you do with the regional commander? Are you not seeing that? Work in partnership. We cannot work alone as ESCC. As an institution, we will try to do our mandate, but we need that help from all other angles. Big problem in this country now. Every education academic certificate now is questionable. Is questionable. For your information, I talked about it yesterday. On Friday, I got a letter from the AG's office through mutual legal assistance on somebody who purported to have a degree from Kampala University. He is a CS in a county in charge of mining, and the letter was in bold. This certificate is fake. We managed to capture one. In criminology, say you arrest one. If you arrest one criminal, 9 are on the loose. So, Honorable Nyoro, Parliament, I don't know what will happen, central government, we need to see how to address the issue of fake certificates. Exam cheating. Today, any Kenyan, you go anywhere in the country, you get admitted directly because the Kenyan education system is valued. But with the way we are going on, very soon we'll be declassified and you'll be told, come and sit for an exam before you go to the university, thanks to corruption. So ESCC cannot pick all these people. We have to streamline laws on how to deal with fake academic papers. We are talking of political culture. I know, Governor, you are a politician. Honorable Nyoro, you are a politician. The political system must support the war against corruption. As ESCC, sometimes we find it very ridiculous. You attend a meeting where you find some senior politicians and they tell you, you ESCC, you are not working. And you know that politician has got issues in your office there. Serious issues. You feel like telling him, but you are one of the culprits that we are looking for. But you keep quiet, you know, protocol and whatever. You know, Honorable Nyoro, when you go to parliament, especially when you're appearing before those committees, you have very special privileges. So it's like a church or a mosque and the worshippers. There was a time I attended a parliamentary Senate committee meeting. Then when I answered them, they said I was rude. So I told them, I thought this is not a church or a mosque where you just listen and go. I also have to ask questions. Because in a church or mosque, whether the pastor or sheikh is talking good things or bad things or nonsense, you keep quiet and finish the service and disappear. So it's very, very interesting. We are talking of the moral decay. The big question I keep on asking people is, why during our time there were no exam leakages and there were no police escort? Exams used to be brought by a Land Rover, the headmaster signs. Actually, they stay in the headmaster's office. The maths paper, CPE, the first day is English and composition. The second day is mathematics and general paper. They stay in the office of the headmaster, some of them with those, we used to have locks called diamond, made in with very small keys, and nobody will break. Today, a container is escorted by GSU, police, NSIS, regional commissioner, and still there's leakage. So moral decay. You cannot blame the government. There's a problem with us as a society. We are talking of petty corruption. People say, why don't you go to those people who are stealing billions? You are just arresting policemen. Do you know the inconvenience the traffic corruption causes to a common Kenyan? Somebody called me sometimes back, because we schooled together in primary. In fact, he called me using my nickname. Say, kijanangu ameshikwa tuk-tuk na polisi hapo haina indicator. Saa 8 usiku. But you know, he doesn't know that I'm a CEO because he looks at me as a former schoolmate. Now you can imagine, a bodaboda is asked to pay 500 shilling by a policeman. That is the whole day profit he was looking for. He is extorted and giving it back to the police. When you do it collectively, there's what you call tangible losses and non-tangible losses. Tangible losses, amepeana pesa. Non-tangible, he has been delayed. Maybe that day he would have made 10 trips. He's now making 5 trips. At the end of the day, that person will come with little money, and with the little money, he will spend little, and then the government loses, because if he was to spend 1,000, if the VAT is 16%, he would have coughed 160 shilling to the coffers of the government. But because he has spent 500 shilling, the government got only 80 shilling, thanks to the traffic police. So the ripple effects, they are quite wide. And also the image. The other one, we talk of how do we digitize the devolved government and the central government. We were just at the governor's office, and I was very impressed that he never used an ICT expert, but he himself opened the computer and he took us through the automation that they have done in Murang'a County. You can imagine a governor, he can even monitor a county car where it is. Kama imeingia Chang'aa den, he can tell hii imeingia mahali ya Chang'aa hapa. And that driver will be asked on Monday, what were you doing in this Chang'aa den during Saturday? So automation is one of the solutions. Reduction of human interaction helps in the in the fight against corruption. We are talking of family values, cultural values. As much as we are glorifying anything that is Mzungu, please let us take good things from Mzungus, and what is not compatible to us, don't take it. During our time, when we were young kids, if you are caught as a schoolboy, secretly you are smoking cigarette, a man will call you and ask you, who is your father? So and so. Atakuchapa, na ukienda nyumbani ameripoti kwa mzee kwa hii kijana wako nimemwona anavuta sigara, utachapwa tena. Do we have that today? Of course, kuchapwa is now not allowed now in the new laws. But you see, somebody can ask you, responsibility of bringing, they say in Africa, a child is not brought by a parent, is brought by the entire village. But that one now is gone. Saa hii jaribu kushika mtoto wa mtu kidogo tu ufinye masikio kidogo hivi, utapelekwa kotini. I'm not propagating violence against children, but I'm just talking of the issue of responsibility. We have thrown our kids just to the teachers. Our kids stays with us in our houses. We don't know them. We just meet them during Hata siku hizi hawakuli dinner na sisi. Anakwamba, I'm doing something daddy, I'll come down. So we are in the same shelter, but we don't know these children. We don't know what they do, we don't know what they're performing. You just believe that you have paid school fees and they're having food, you've done your responsibility as a parent. It goes beyond that. So if we don't take care of these children properly, that is why when they grow up, what used to be wrong for us who are old, to them is not wrong. So let us look back, and for the men, mwache kudanganya wasichana. Ukiambia msichana utamoa muoe, si umtie mimba alafu mtoroke. Take responsibility. It is not easy to bring a kid as a single parent. It's very, very difficult. So let us be supportive. Let us try to build the family unit. If somebody is a single parent, let us help that single parent, because that boy or that girl, when he becomes a good citizen, even you who is not a parent to that person, you'll benefit. You'll benefit a lot. Then we look at, lastly, we look at the issue of active participation in politics. Active participation in politics. I am not against the old people, but look here, the governor, I was talking to the governor and I can tell Mr. Nyoro, these are young people with young ideas. Wanta kuleta politicians ile first government ya Kenyatta ikiapishwa jamaa ndo alikuwa sijui dio. 60 years later, what new ideas will this person bring? I'm not fighting the old people, but I'm saying get the right leadership. And before I welcome our chairman, it is evident in this country that we have been arguing that one of the reasons the EACC is having a problem in fighting corruption is that the public elect wrong people. The public elect wrong people. Why is this county progressing very well? Why is Kisumu County progressing very well? Why are other counties having multiple and myriad of problems? It's because the citizen elected the wrong people. So when it comes to election, get the right people and you will see development from your constituency, from your ward, from your county. You will see good progress in terms of accountability. So when I talk about all this, in general, I'm saying, as a CEO EACC, and the experience that I've had, is that the process of fighting corruption in any society, whether it's Kenya, Rwanda, anywhere, it goes under 3 pillars. The political culture. The political culture is very important. Electing the right leadership, like Muranga here. I'm not campaigning for them, but that's the reality. You are talking of the public. Are they participating in the support against corruption? Then you have the institutions. If institutions are starved, they have no capacity, they have no budget, and the only way you know is to say, you guys are not doing anything. You are not helping the institutions. Let us not go again on blame game, blaming EACC, blaming the county government, blaming the national government, blaming the judiciary, blaming the ODPP. That will not help. Let us look at ourselves in a holistic approach. Let us address those issues, and you will see this country will take off. Kenya is a very, very beautiful country. Kenya has got all resources. There are some countries that you go and you wonder how they have developed and they have nothing. Us here, if you ask for desert, we have desert. If you ask for snow, there's Mount Kenya, there's snow. We have everything. We have the sea, we have the port. We have people who are very well trained, very enterprising. Why are we having economic problems? All this is because of corruption. So with those remarks, I would like to invite His Excellency the Governor, who will make his remarks.
So, thank you so much. The chairperson, Bishop David Oginde, and the commissioners of EACC, the secretary and the CEO of EACC, Mr. Twalib Barak, CBS, the leadership of the Kenya Leadership and Integrity Forum, the county commissioner, the deputy governor, the member of parliament of Kiharu constituency, my friend Dede Nyoro. I've seen other members of parliament. I've seen my friend from Mombasa. Can you wake up and clap for my friend? Thank you so much. I'll be calling Dede shortly. We'll then call my friend from Mombasa, and also, and before we call the chair. Also, we have the deputy governor, the honorable members of the county assembly, please, who are there, please, can you be upstanding? Can you clap for them? We have Mheshimiwa Esther. Esther is a nominated MCA representing persons with disability. Clap for her. We have Mheshimiwa Kafera. He is the MCA for Kamauha Ward. Thank you so much. And the chair of trade committee. We have a very good Mheshimiwa Warispa, MCA Kimorori Wempa. She represents members of the county assembly in the public service board of the assembly. Pigia makofi. Then tuko na Mheshimiwa Dunda, happens to the MCA for Idhanga ward, iko Gatanga constituency, and the chair of public investments committee of the assembly. Tumpigie makofi. So first, allow me first to welcome you, the entire EACC family, for choosing Murang'a. We are very humbled. I know you could have gone to other counties to host this International Anti-Corruption Day, and therefore we do not take for granted your decision to come to Murang'a. Thank you so much. We are humbled. Secondly, we also want to thank you for the compliments that you have given to this county. We know we have a long journey. We do not claim that we are the best, no way. We also say Murang'a does not compete with anyone, we compete with poverty. As long as there is poverty, because there is poverty, we are still behind, and therefore definitely we will continue as a policy, fight and ensure that we fight corruption and we bring development. So first, as a county, what are we doing to fight against corruption? Number one, as CEO of EACC has said, governments needs to automate. And therefore, Murang'a County has gone strongly towards automating its services. We have automated revenue collection. Now you don't need to go to any county office to get your liquor license, single business permit, to get your building approval, to get your plot transfer. You only need to go to the internet, apply, and then we shall process and give you a certificate. And also, we have automated our hospital systems. And allow me to show you Murang'a County Referral Hospital Automation System. It's called afia.ke in partnership with the Ministry of Health. If you go to Murang'a Level 5 Hospital, like now as we speak here, you can be able to know how many patients are in Murang'a Level 5 Hospital. There are 163 as we speak. Next slide there, it shows what kind of diseases has taken them to Murang'a Hospital. Then there next is how much money has been collected as we speak through M-Pesa, whether waiver, whether through Kangata Care, which is our own internal NHIF scheme, or any other medical insurance cover. Here down on the prescription today, we can be able to know whether there are some missing drugs in our hospitals and which is drug which has been most requested but it is missing. Yes, that part called unfulfilled. That way and that way. Now, Chairman and CEO, we want this system now to go to all 157 health facilities in Murang'a in the next 2 months. Currently, Safaricom is on the ground putting internet connectivity. We have already deployed computers in select facilities. In the next 1 month, all facilities should be having computers. That way, we'll be able to know whether there are drugs in any dispensary, whether the officer is working or not, and that way we shall have reduced corruption in our medical facilities. Related to that, Chairman and the CEO and the congregation, our flagship programs, we have tried to be as transparent as possible. For instance, we have the Kangata Care recruitment. We announce a date. We tell people to go there. We give out a criteria, those who want to join that scheme. Of course, we target the poor, the vulnerable, those who cannot be able to buy medical cover on their own. And like last recruitment, everyone who appeared for our recruitment of Kangata Care was given the card automatically. And that way we reduce corruption because there is no vetting. We allowed almost every poor person who came there. Secondly, things like UJI program, things like, we have another very important program called Murang'a Youth Service. There's a lot of unemployment in this country, and therefore Murang'a decided to establish a Murang'a Youth Service to give young people an opportunity to work for the county, to collect garbage, and also to clean our towns. And every day we give them 400 shillings per day. 100 goes to the parent, 300 goes to the student, to the young person. When we were doing recruitment, we called every young person to come to the chief's office. They pick a paper that is yes or no, and therefore we were trying to promote transparency in the recruitment into that program. Allow me to show you a video that shows how we did that recruitment. If the person who is doing the queuing can do that, but yes, we saw that Murang'a Youth Service. Yes, let me show you. He is saying, read. Listen, he is saying, listen. This was a place called Muruka in Kandara. So he got the ballot in a free and fair manner. So they are balloting in a transparent manner. Thank you. Thank you so much. Stop. We can. So when you look at that program, almost 1,000 young people came seeking opportunities, about 30 opportunities per ward. And after we did it in a free and fair manner, there was no single complaint because people saw transparency. And that's our endeavor as a county. The same goes to our own internal processing. We have also automated our requisitions. And therefore, if you're a public officer in the county, let's say a CEC or a chief officer, if you want to requisition money, you no longer have to physically go to the chief officer finance. You have to go to the system, apply for your per diem, apply for whatever requisition you want to do. That way we keep a record of interest or any other supporting documents, and we try to promote transparency. The same also applies to issues to do with procurement. We have decided to be doing open an open tendering system. We announce all our tenders in our newspapers. People apply, and those who don't get, they get a regret letter, and they are given a reason, and also the opportunity to appeal. And that way, we are happy to report, because of that openness, there was no single pending bill as we crossed over to this new financial year. And our view is that if you do the right thing, you will live a little bit of a comfortable life, because no one will come after you. However, and I was telling my friend, the CEO, we know this is politics, and politics is something that every time you're always living on the edge. We know how politics fights began, and therefore we will do our best, but that's not an assurance that there will be no problems into the future. And again, I've also told my colleagues that Mugema Kisifiwa, Tembo Ulitia Maji. So we must not allow whatever little gain there is to enter into our heads. Let's continue innovating. Let's continue coming up with better ideas to ensure Murang'a becomes one of the best counties in this Republic of Kenya. Of course, we are humbled by the awards we got from the Council of Governors in Eldoret. We are also humbled by the recognition we got from Ombudsman, the Commission for Administrative Justice, the other day, because of creating these systems, and also your decision to choose Murang'a. But we believe the journey is long. We believe we have a lot that we need to do so that we progressively make Murang'a a better county. We shall do our best, but we are also religious people. We believe without God, we cannot go far. Allow me now to call my brother Dede Nyoro to give his remarks. Please clap for MP.
Thank you very much, my brother and my friend, our governor, Dr. Irungu Kang'ata, the chairperson of EACC, our spiritual father also, Bishop David Ogide, Daktari, my other brother, the CEO of EACC, Bwana Twalib Barak, viongozi wote, pia tuko na our deputy governor, our PS for mining, Bwana Elijah, all the MCAs who are very good friends of mine. Na pia I have a colleague of mine, Mheshimiwa Munyi, na wananchi wenzangu. Good afternoon. I think before I give my few remarks, I request the...
And I think that is a dream that we shall all live to appreciate if it can happen when we are still alive. Otherwise, Brother Dede Nyoro, I want to congratulate Bana Governor, Bana Irungu Kang'ata. Irungu Kang'ata has been a best, an MP who's a performer, and is also performing as a governor. I want to promise him, I'll pay you a visit with my constituents to come and see how you are making your county to be among those in the green, light. I'm actually somebody who loves performance. And I think I'll ask you, Brother Dede Nyoro, to be present when I visit your constituency, because it is actually the headquarters, and so that we can learn the better practices from you, Brother Kang'ata, and keep it up. Keep the fire burning. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Omar Munyi. First of all, I want to welcome everyone hapa Kiharu. Where you are is actually in Kiharu. The entire Murang'a town is in Kiharu constituency. Karibu sana CEO, karibu sana chair, and every other guest. Secondly, nataka pia niwakaribishe na with a lot of humility kwa constituency ambayo pia tunajaribu sana kuchapa kazi, na nitataja tu machache kwa sababu every time we get an opportunity, it is sometimes good that we shelve politics and talk about issues that we are doing that are changing the lives of Kenyans. One of the reasons why I believe our constituency has been rated to be doing quite well is specifically because we believe opportunities should go to everyone. And the best way to make opportunities go to everyone is to make sure that every other person has an opportunity to go to school. And in that regard, in our CDF, because that is the fund that we actually use to serve the people of Kenya, is that we have been able to do a lot in terms of schools. Bwana CEO, all our public primary schools in Kiharu, they look like academies. All our children go to tiled classrooms, all the 112 classrooms, schools in Kiharu. Also, we have a program called Kiharu Masomo Bora, where we are touching over 13,000 learners. All our day scholars here in Kiharu, they pay school fees of only 1,000 per term. And within that 1,000, they eat in school for 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday, and we have changed the menu. Instead of githeri every day, they take githeri 3 days and the rice 3 days so that we keep them in school all the days of the week. The other few points I want to touch, which are critical and will be quite fast because we know we are live on TV and we need to give chairman some time also to talk to Kenyans, is that I believe in the fight against corruption. It is an issue of having a strong state. And if you look at the sequence of a new modern state, it starts by having a country which is just coordinates. But then there is the issue of accountability, that goes to elections that we do, which also I believe the part of accountability is also EACC. Across the evolution of many countries, we see that countries that actually have a strong state before they democratize actually end up having more stronger institutions, other than having democracy precede a state. Where am I saying so? If you look at countries, I can mention myself because I'm a politician. If you look at a country, for example, our neighbors, for example, in Congo, who are very wealthy, states like even Nigeria, who are also very wealthy in terms of resources, these are countries which, before they had a strong state, they first adopted democracy. What am I trying to say? The point I'm trying to drive home is that we need to continually make our state apparatus strong, because it is the ones that we check through democracy, it is the one we check through infrastructure like EACC. And I believe the evolution of Kenya, every day making our institutions greater, every day refining our institutions, will go a long way in terms of accountability, but also strengthening an institution like EACC. The other 2 points then I cite. If you look at African countries across, all emerging countries, you look at a very funny trend, where, yes, I believe the CEO has praised youthful leadership, but you look at many emerging countries where youths are more incentivized to join politics other than private sector. A young person in the US fights their way to Wall Street. The others fight their way into Silicon Valley. But when you come to Africa, even when you have a doctorate in computer science, you look for a way to get elected. Number one is because, yes, we want to serve, but it's also an issue of opportunities. The reason why majority of emerging countries, youth who would rather be in private sector, join politics, allow me to admit, is number one, because they want to extract political rent. You find that there is an easier route, possibly to make it in politics, other than in private sector. And I think the point I'm trying to drive here is that one way and critical way of fighting corruption is actually making sure that our economies are thriving. It is out of a thriving economy that people can get opportunities from many other areas. You can get an opportunity by just doing business. You can get an opportunity without basically knowing anyone, because your expertise, your ingenuity, your hard work will pay off much more than you'd extract using the political platform. I hope we are in agreement there, my fellow politicians. Having said that, I really want to laud EACC And I want to assure the CEO, the reason why we put our commissions under what we call CFS in budget making process is to make sure that your money comes out faster than the other agencies. But we also know that we have had some issues around liquidity and budget as a country, but I assure you before this congregation that we will continue to support EACC in our budget making process. You have also whispered to me that you got a major cut in the supplementary budget. I want to assure you we will pay that back in double portion very soon. It is the same thing we are doing around our judiciary. We have actually upped the judiciary monies by over 30% since we took over. We'll continue capitalizing our judiciary so that it continues to be an independent arm of government to be able to collaboratively deal with corruption issues, of course, with the help of EACC, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, and all the other agencies that are charged in fighting corruption and entrenching ethics in our societies. Otherwise, thank you very much. May God bless you. Please, don't go back to your various homes. Spend your night in Murang'a. We have good facilities here. It is good that you see our beautiful county. Thank you very much.
We now be upstanding for the chair. Yes, Bishop. Then after that, DG will come and give the closing remark and vote of thanks. DG Monani. Thank you.
We may be seated. Because of our time, allow me not to go through all the protocols, but of course I must appreciate our governor for the very, very pleasant surprise that you have given to us on what you are doing as a county. I would really want to see how this can be extended to the rest of the counties because it will make our work very, very easy. So thank you, Your Excellency, Governor Kangata, for that great work. And then, of course, listening to the MP for this area, Ndindi Nyoro, amazing insights. I wanted to hear more from you because those are great, great insights on what you are doing as a constituency and, of course, even at the national level. I want to appreciate all those people who have made this possible. UNODC, thank you very much for being our continued supporter in this work of fighting corruption and in enhancing integrity. The International Anti-Corruption Day is marked annually by those people who have signed the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, generally known as UNCAC. This was unveiled in Mexico 20 years ago, in 2003. And therefore, this year marks the 20th anniversary of this particular convention. And today it is running under the theme, Uniting the World Against Corruption. The main objective of this, marking this day, is to reflect on the achievements, the milestones, the challenges, opportunities to fight against corruption in order to determine more appropriate strategies to combat the source and place of corruption globally. This is the reason that we are gathered here today, here in Murang'a. Murang'a is hosting us, but really this is a global meeting that is recognized across the world. Significantly, the convention is the first binding global instrument that deals with corruption across the world. And it is noteworthy that Kenya was the very first to sign and ratify the convention, at that time led by the then Kenyan Minister for Justice, Honorable Kiraitu Murungi. With great passion, as he stepped forward to sign this convention on behalf of us as a country, he said something that really caught my attention and touched my heart.
And let me just quote what he said. For us, Kenya, the fight against corruption is a matter of life and death. It cannot wait for tomorrow. We believe we are doing the right thing by ratifying this convention today. It is not by accident that Kenya has become the first nation to sign and ratify the convention. The country has become one of the most corrupt nations on earth. Let me pause there and end his quote. The reason I bring that quote is because I would like us to reflect on the words of our leader, Honorable Kiraitu Murungi, when he passionately uttered these words 20 years ago in Mexico. One of the first thing he says is that for us, Kenya, the fight against corruption is a matter of life and death. A matter of life and death. I wonder how many of us believe that the fight against corruption is still a matter of life and death. When we observe how some of us respond to the fight against corruption, it leaves one with the impression that we are merely playing games and that corruption is not such a serious matter. In recent past, we have witnessed some of our members of parliament who are here represented by our MP Ndindi Nyoro, of course not him, but his colleagues, who sponsor motions to dilute the effect of fighting corruption. One such proposed amendment was seeking to remove procurement breaches from legal redress and place them under administrative action. Another seeks to exempt any person who has been convicted for corruption to be free to serve in public office. In the conflict of interest bill that is going on before the House, there are attempts being made to water it down so that public officers can still trade with government. Furthermore, we have seen political parties, certain communities or regions gang up against law enforcement agencies when a corruption suspect is being arrested or is being questioned. The impression given is that we do not believe that the fight against corruption is actually a matter of life and death. But fellow Kenyans, the single most dangerous calamity that this country has ever faced is not HIV/AIDS, it was not COVID-19, it is not drought or famine or floods, it is not even the post-election violence that we experience once in a while. The single most dangerous thing that threatens our very existence as a nation is corruption. And so I agree with Kiraitu Murungi that the fight against corruption is a matter of life and death and still remains so 20 years after he spoke these words. Corruption precipitates high cost of living that all of us are experiencing. It leads to breakdown in law. It leads to inequitable distribution of resources and opportunities. It leads to poor infrastructure, roads, water, hospitals. It leads to undermines the realization of national development goals. Corruption increases poverty and inequality. It reduces the capacity and effectiveness of government to render services. It leads to impunity and impedes access to justice. Corruption leads to crime when criminals are allowed to have a free hand because they have bribed or corrupted law enforcement agencies. It aggravates climate change, and the list goes on and on, the impact of corruption. In other words, corruption, if left unattended, can destroy this nation in less than a decade, completely. So Kiraitu Murungi was absolutely right when he said that for us, Kenya, the fight against corruption is a matter of life and death. And he added and said, it cannot wait for tomorrow. This is our commitment as EACC. We are going to fight corruption as a matter of life and death. Nelson Mandela once said, and correctly so, and I quote, "There is no easy walk to freedom anywhere. And many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintop of our desires." End of quote. We are aware, as EACC, that some of the men and women involved in corruption are armed and dangerous. But because you are an enemy to the destiny and the future of our people, we are going to face you with courage and with boldness. And if we defeated the colonialists with their guns, we are also going to defeat you with your ill-gotten wealth. One member of parliament actually told me, "Bishop, this is soon after I came into office, you are not going to succeed." And he said it as a matter of fact. Later, as I reflected over those words, I remember that that is what the slave traders thought, that slavery can never be abolished because they were benefiting from it. That is what the racists in America thought because they were privileged. That is what the colonialists that colonized various nations of the world thought. That is what apartheid in South Africa, those people who are there thought that it would never end. That it was here when the colonialists took our country, they thought it would never end. But you can never fight against a desperate people who are seeking their livelihood and their welfare. And so those who are committed to corruption, we are going to take the words of our leader, Kiraitu Murungi. We are going to fight you as a matter of life and death. Secondly, he said that by signing this document, we are doing the right thing by ratifying this convention today. To stand against corruption is the right thing to do. As we gather here today, 20 years since these words were spoken, we must refocus our vision to building a corruption-free Kenya. It is the right thing to do. The truth is, no nation in the world has ever grown through shortcuts, such as corruption, gambling, fraud, and so on. Great nations are those that have prioritized hard work, like we are hearing here in Murang'a, honesty, trust, and integrity. Ethics and integrity, my fellow Kenyans, may not give you immediate rewards, but it builds for us a deep reservoir from which we can draw for a lifetime. We at the Commission remain committed to implement our mandate impartially, professionally, with full recognition to our national values and principles. It is just the right thing to do, and we are not going to be derailed by those people who want to distract us. I want to call upon our public officers to embrace ethics and integrity in their lifestyles. Please adhere to the national values and principles of governance. Ensure strict compliance with the leadership and integrity requirements and values and principles that guide the public service as is contemplated in our Constitution. It is just the right thing to do. It is not something that is heavy. It will help all of us in the long run. Finally, Kiraitu Murungi said, "It is not by accident that Kenya has become the first nation to sign and ratify the convention." I want to fully agree with these words. If it was not by accident that we were the first country on earth to ratify the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, Could it be that we can also be the first nation in Africa to defeat corruption? I believe we can. To this end, we want to call upon all of us as stakeholders to unite, to collaborate, and to cooperate in preventing and curbing corrupt and ethical conduct in every place where we find ourselves. We want to call upon the various arms of government and other stakeholders to assist us in this endeavor. Here are some things that we can do towards this great ambition, and some of them have been mentioned by the previous speakers. Number one, we need to address the anti-corruption legal frameworks that sometimes impede the process of fighting corruption and encouraging ethical conduct. We may need to make it difficult for corrupt individuals to ascend to power or to hold public office. This will require that we amend our laws so that when a person is convicted for corrupt practices, they should remain outside, because there are many other clean Kenyans who can actually do those jobs. We need to streamline the roles of the various legal enforcement agencies. And this is, again, will require some legal reforms, amendments in the parliament, so that it is made clear who is doing what. Because sometimes, because of the overlaps that are there, there is confusion, even in the eyes of the public, as to who should be doing what. And sometimes, while you leave it for the other party to do it, the corrupt disappear in between. We need to build the capacity of critical institutions in the fight against corruption through adequate personnel, financial resources, and others. I was very happy to hear, Mheshimiwa, when you said we are going to get double. That's a very good promise, and we look forward. We'll be praying for you as you become our Messiah in Parliament. We need appropriate legal provisions to be made for EACC to prosecute its cases, as is done in Zambia. We recently were hosted the anti-corruption body from Zambia, and we shared notes as to what is happening. In Zambia, when they investigate, they also prosecute, and it makes it more efficient than it is today, so that we can reduce the resources that we spend on the corruption cases and the time it takes to conclude these cases. We need to make corruption a measurable performance contracting factor to increase commitment to accountability by all the heads of ministries, counties, departments, and agencies of government. We need to infuse compulsory values and ethics training in our education system, so that we raise up a new generation of men and women who embrace values and practice them as a matter of lifestyle. We need to make our academic certificate verifications digitally accessible to employers, so that I can easily, as an employer, check the certificates that are being offered to us. Because like our CEO mentioned, our fake certificate issue has become a pandemic. We have just too many cases of people presenting fake certificates at various levels in order to secure jobs, especially in government. And the list of what could be done for us to become the first nation to defeat corruption is endless. We in EACC want to commit ourselves to do our very best to ensure that we become the first nation to tame corruption in Africa. To this end, EACC recently launched a new strategic plan 2023-2028, where we have outlined some of the things that we are going to be doing. In the plan, the Commission will build on its successes and deploy new strategies and approaches guided by the lessons learned from our previous strategic plan. EACC, we commit ourselves to promote ethics, prevent corruption, and at the same time enforce law against offenders with a deliberate focus of a highly influential, on highly influential people and highly valued incidences. We want to make our country a hostile environment for the corrupt. In conclusion, the fight against corruption requires a multi-stakeholder approach. We must work together in preventing and fighting corruption so as to support the government's development agenda and therefore improve the quality of living for our citizens. One British parliamentarian, Edmund Burke, back in 1700s, once said, "When bad men combine, the good must associate, else they will fall one by one, an unpitied sacrifice in a contemptible struggle."
The EACC, because this institution, in the efforts of trying to organize this day, came to Murang'a, and you have been trying to assess and strengthen the institutions of Murang'a County government, the institutions of national government in Murang'a County. You have had sit down with our county assembly. You have had sit down with our CEOs, with our chief officers, with our CECs, with our revenue collectors. You have had sit down with almost every other person to try and assess areas where we are vulnerable to corruption and educate us on areas that we need to improve. We want to sincerely thank you. I also want to thank the following institution. One is the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, for they have been together with the EACC in the education of our public and our government institutions. Also want to thank the Office of the KRA, especially the intelligence unit, who has also been with us in the same process of educating our institution. Also want to recognize the Office of the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime, who has also been instrumental in organization and funding of this day. I also want to thank the European Union through the program of legal empowerment aid delivery in Kenya for having participated and led us through this process, for you have enabled us to be able to have this successful day. I would also want to thank the members of our county assembly for being able to participate in the trainings that have happened in the course of this week, to train members of the office of the clerk, the secretariats, or also members themselves to be able to participate in this. Most importantly, I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every person who have participated in the success of this day. Notably, I want to recognize the efforts of the county secretary, who has been a key coordinator of the county government in the process of organizing the various events. Notably, I also want to thank the county commissioner in organizing the various national government functions in each and every, in the departments of national government. I would also want to notably recognize the county assembly clerk, who also was instrumental in organization of the various programs of the county assembly. I would also want to take this opportunity to thank the members of public who have participated in various educational forums in the roadshows that began earlier this week and have continued to support this event and here today. And also in conclusion, I want us to thank ourselves with 5 factorials on celebrating the International Anti-Corruption Day today. So I want us to prepare our hands. Mnajua venye 5 factorials zinaendanga? Tunaanzia na 5, tunaenda 4, tunaenda 3, tunaenda 2, tunamaliza na gapi? Are you prepared? Are you prepared? Tuna fight corruption pamoja. So mko prepared? So tuanzie. Thank you very much.
Mungu awabariki.
Thank you, Excellency, the Deputy Governor. Thank you, Excellency. Now we come to the final phase of this commemoration. That is signing an action plan between the EACC and the county government of Murang'a. Just by way of background, the Commission has undertaken a corruption risk assessment both in the county executive and the county assembly for the last 3 weeks. There are a number of areas that we have discussed with both the executive and the assembly that require urgent attention, and we have put them in the form of an action plan. So we'll be requesting the leaders of the both sides to come forward and sign those action plans. So we'll move in this particular order. First and foremost, the CEO EACC will sign with the Deputy Speaker of the County Assembly, and the clerk should be there to witness. So we'll process to the table next, just here. And all the political leaders in the county, please come forward to witness. Please come, CEO, this side. Yes, sir. Okay, the Public Investment Committee Chair, please come. Now they are signing. Please, thank you very much. Thank you, Chair of the County Assembly. Now we invite the Governor to come forth. See you, Madam. Chair, please come to witness. Let me show first. Kindly, let's go. Just come to the main stage. We want to show it here. So, kujeni pale mbele tutasionyesha pale. Commissioners, please join us. Deputy Governor.
Thank you very much. So that marks the end of the signing ceremony. Kindly come back to the stage. Yes. I am advised that the chair of the Public Accounts Committee may say a word. Please come forward to say something on behalf of the County Assembly, and then we'll invite Bwana Lofty Matambo to come back. Yes,
good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex Ndunda, MCA Idhanga, and also the Chair, Public Investments and Accounts Committee, Murang'a County Assembly. I must say that today I'm happy to be part of this big occasion whereby we are celebrating World International Anti-Corruption Day. Na niseme kwa Kiswahili kwamba sisi kama assembly tumejitoa kuhakikisha kwamba kama Wakenya wenzetu tutapigana na mambo ya ufisadi. Tutakuwa mstari wa mbele kuhakikisha kwamba jambo hili ama ugonjwa huu wa ufisadi tumeweza kupigana nao, na hasa sisi wale ambao tumechaguliwa, na pia itakuwa changamoto kwa kila mmoja wetu kuhakikisha kila mahali amepigana na ufisadi. Leo hii nimepata fursa ya kuungana na wenzangu ama wale watu ambao walikuwa wanatupatia vitabu pale, na kusema ukweli mimi mwenyewe nimepata vitabu vingi. Nimeona kitabu kimoja ambacho ni cha watoto wale wadogo. Kuna ako ka kitabu utakapata pale nje. Ako ka kitabu ni kwa watoto wadogo. Na wakati tulikuwa tuna share na mmoja wa hao maofisa, nikamwambia itakuwa jambo njema iwapo wataweza kuweka jambo hili ama masomo haya katika shule zetu za chekechea. Ndio pale haya masomo yaanze pale chini. Kwa sababu ni kama Wakenya, kila Mkenya anazaliwa na ufisadi katika damu yake. So I think this is a good move if we can incorporate all this in our curriculum so that even in the schools it can be learned. It will be a good thing. Otherwise, thank you and God bless you.
Makofi jameni, makofi. Makofi kwa mheshimiwa anaposhtuka kutoka pale jukwani. Tumpigie makofi hadi akae chini safi kabisa. Jameni, ni raha si raha. Namuona rafiki yangu mheshimiwa Ndindi Nyoro, mbunge wa Kiharu, ameingia nikiwa nimekaa, kwa hivyo sikuwa nimemtambua. Karibu sana mheshimiwa. Siku nyingine ukija kuchelewa mimi ndio nitachukua faini kutoka kwako jameni, kwa wakati huu sasa ingekuwa ni siku ya harusi, ningeanza kuita wale wajomba kutoka kwa bi harusi, tena niite mashangazi kutoka kwa bwa harusi kwa ajili ya picha, lakini kwa sababu si harusi, japo inaonekana ni kama ni harusi kati ya EACC na kaunti ya Murang'a, nitafanya vivyo hivyo. Kwa hivyo kwaya ya kina mama ambayo ilikuwa nimeita awali ijiandae pale nyuma, na waona kwa ajili ya kufunga kwa tumbuizo lenu, lakini kwanza tupate viongozi wetu hapa mbele kwa ajili ya picha maridadi, picha zilizopangwa zikapangika. Kwa hivyo kwa mwendo wa aste ni kama mnakuja kutoa hoja zenu kwenye debate mkiwa shuleni, mje hapa mbele alafu wapiga picha mkaribie. Kwa hivyo mwenyekiti wetu wa EACC pamoja na afisa mkuu mtendaji, gavana, naibu gavana, namuona Bi Charity Kagwe pia pande hapa mbele. Bwana PS pia karibu hapa. Bwana Elijah pamoja na county commissioner, namuona na wageni wote hapa mbele. Alafu naomba tafadhali wale walio na misuli tinginya waje kunisaidia kutoa majukwaa haya ili tupige picha kwa uzuri. Yasongeshwe kando kidogo. Wako wapi wale? Wale wenye misuli, wale kutoka kwa ofisi ya gavana. Mko? Tusongeshe kidogo majukwaa haya kando ili picha ipendeze. Aha, naam. Aha. Hiyo inaharibu picha eh? Tutaanza na picha pamoja, alafu nitakuwa na wavuruga kidogo tu kuwaelekeza. Piga picha. Unaomba msaada? Tunaomba tumsaidie. Wakaribiane na mpendane, japo naona kina baba ndo wengi hapa. Wakaribiane namna wa nyuma, rudi nyuma kidogo, katikati. Nije hapo ndo mtoke nyote. Basi kwa hivyo walio kwanzia hapa washuke hapa mbele, alafu mkaribiane. Hapo sawa kabisa. Ndio maana wewe ni CEO kweli. Kupata cheo hichi bure bure. Turudi huu pande kidogo ili tuweze kuibalance. Sawa hapo aja twende kazi. Zikitosha mniambie. Safi. Tunaweza pata gavana pamoja na utawala wa kaunti hapo, mbunge wetu. Alafu tupige roho ya mbele kwanza, afu tutapunguza. Naam, songa karibu. Safi. Bado. Bicharity nitakuita. Bicharity kaa hapo karibu. Kaa hapo ulipo tu nitakuweka. Next tubaki na gavana, naibu wake, CEO na chair pamoja na mbunge wetu. Safi. Haya. Bicharity unaweza jiunga nao, mmoja wale wafadhili wetu kutoka UNODC. Tupige ya mwisho hii. Safi. Tuko sawa. Tuweza pumzisha utawala wa county, tubaki na chairman na CEO pamoja na Bicharity. Naomba uje pamoja na mwakilishi wa UNCAC Mheshimiwa Omar Mwinyi. Tumalize ya mwisho. Wacha Mheshimiwa Ndindi amalize salamu za mwisho, alafu tumpumzishe. Kije kikaribie, ambie kina mama karibie. Asante Mheshimiwa Ndindi. Ni vile huna t-shirt ungekuwa umebaki pale. Hapo vipi? Mmefurahia? Asanteni sana. Naomba mpumzike sasa, mpate tumbuizo la mwisho kabla ya kuweza kuondoka. Kina mama tafadhalini, uwanja ni wenu. Hima, nasikia matumbo yanaanza kudai. Kuna sauti yao maalum sauti ikija, hebu mgeukie tena ile jirani yako uone kama ule ufisadi umepungua, maana tumeambiwa mgeukie, mwangalie. Alikuwa amepaka poda, sasa imetoka Sasa uso wenyewe ndio unaonekana yeye mtu aina gani. Mpatie mchapo wa juu, mwambie hizi salamu za Lokti Matambo. Amesema waache ufisadi, lakini yesi ufisadi. Wafisadi hawezi fika hapo kule nje. Akina mama wanapojiandaa. Jamani, ndio tamati tunapomalizia shughuli yetu hii ya siku ya leo, siku ya kimataifa ya kuadhimisha kupambana na ufisadi kote duniani. Tumejuzwa kwamba ni siku ambayo inaadhimisha miaka 20 haswa baada ya makubaliano yale ambayo yalitiwa saini kule Mexico, United Nations Convention Against Corruption, wenyewe wanaita UNCAC. Jamani, kwa mantiki hiyo jamani, akina mama mko tayari? Ngoma yenu imefika. Kujeni jameni. Niko hapa kwa ajili ya kuwakaribisha nyinyi. Karibuni sana. Tupate tumbuizo la mwisho. Hii naambiwa ndio ni showstopper. Showstopper ya kina mama hao. Kitafuta mke wa Kikikuyu usipoweza kufikia gharama ya haya mavazi ya hudhurungi, rudi kwenu. Nasikia kogali. Rinda moja hili ni kama 25,000 hivi. Ni kweli mama? Hiyo ndo bei Haya, karibuni sana.
Kujeni mpaka huku.
Wanajaribu kunyosha sauti Wanapangana. Ana katika ule umri pia kupiga kwaya si mchezo Walianza wakiwa chekechea hawa kina mama. Natambua vizuri sana. Kasema ngoma tunayo hii mpaka tuzeeke. Hapazeeki mtu hapa. Na ndo hao sasa. Mko tayari kina mama? Haya twendeni kazi basi. Maana jua lachwa hili.
Ene twamonyitoge ninyuothe muri guku tunyitanire turi ithuothe niguo muthenya uyu wagirire twamonyitoge ninyuothe muri guku oguo tunyitanire turi ithuothe niguo muthenya uyu wagirire twamonyitoge ni muthenya uyu niguo muthenya uyu wagirire twamonyitoge ni muthenya uyu ithuothe tukite guku oguo ungumania uruwe nigwarani na bururi mundu ena itemi riake kuruwa na ungumania mundu ena itemi riake ungumania ngethira bururi-ini mundu kwirora haria ari ungumania ngethira bururi-ini mundu kwirora haria ari tutuike andu ehokeku mena waragania na mangihokwo tutuike andu ehokeku kuma meciĩ-inĩ maobici-inĩ kuma rĩa nene nginya rĩa nini kuma meciĩ-inĩ maobici-inĩ kuma rĩa nene nginya rĩa nini tũtuĩke andũ ehokeku mena waragania na mangĩhokwo tũtuĩke andũ ehokeku mena waragania na mangĩhokwo atongoria aitũ twĩmenyerere tũtigekĩrwo gĩthĩi ngingo atongoria aitũ twĩmenyerere tũtigekĩrwo gĩthĩi ngingo tũtuĩke andũ ehokeku mena waragania na mangĩhokwo tũtuĩke andũ ehokeku mena waragania na mangĩhokwo twarora bũrũri witũ gũtũrĩra nĩ mũritũ rekei tũcayanĩre bũrũri atĩ ĩni tũcayanĩre bũrũri ũkũre atĩ twarora barabara-inĩ gũtũrĩra nĩ mũritũ ũkũre atĩ twarora na mĩciĩ itũ nayo nĩ mũritũ ũguo rekei tũcayanĩre bũrũri ũkũre tũtĩe thamaki na ithuĩ bũrũri witũ nĩ ũkwagĩrĩra tũtĩe atongoria na ithuĩ bũrũri witũ nĩ ũkwagĩrĩra tũtĩe mĩciĩ itũ na ithuĩ bũrũri witũ nĩ ũkwagĩrĩra
Rora show imekamilika jamani. Makofi kwa akina mama. Chukueni namba zao wale ambao wanapanga kuoa. Manake Rora show na hii ngoma. Hata mke unakatazwa. Asanteni sana kina mama kwa kazi nzuri ningependa kumaliza tufanye maombi tena tumalize. Kwa hivyo Askofu Ndorongo kaa tayari, lakini nataka kuonyesha kitu. Utawala wa kaunti ya Murang'a pamoja na tume hii ya maadili na kupambana na ufisadi EACC na washiriki wote, nataka kuona kama kazi mlioifanya leo imenoga, imefana ama imekuwa namna gani. Naomba mama mmoja kutoka huu pande hapa nyuma aje hapa mbele tafadhali, anayeweza kujitolea. Niko na swali na zawadi. Mama mmoja kutoka huu pande tafadhali. Kuna ya kujitolea? Aha. Nani pale? Njoo, na kuona dada hapo umenyosha. Wewe mwenye nywele za njoo hapa. Kisuke hivi wewe njoo. Na kofia yako nzuri kabisa njoo. Kwa dakika 2 tu. Alafu upande naomba mwanaume. Upande hapa. Nani pale? Sitaki kuchukua aliyevaa t-shirt za EACC. Mzee wangu pale nyuma. Wewe mwenye shati nyeusi pale na maua njoo. Tafadhali naam wewe njoo. Asante sana njoo. Njoo pande hapa juu. Hawa ni vijana nataka tumalize kwa haraka. Sasa kwa yale yote ambayo yamezungumzwa leo, kwanza jina lako unaitwa nani? Joan. Washa microphone iko ikaribishe tu, iko wazi jina lako kamili?
Joan Wangari.
Joan Wangari, sauti inasikika kule kweli? Unaisikia? Sema tena.
Joan Wangari.
Umekuja hapa kutoka wapi? Wewe ni nani?
Murang'a County.
Wewe ni mtu wa Murang'a County. Na wewe kaka njoo. Jina lako? Steven Kavuvi.
Ndio.
Mbona sauti yako inasikika vizuri kuliko ya Joan?
Mimi ni mhubiri.
Mathayo 7:7 inasemaje?
Imenichenga kidogo.
Yohana 10:10.
Yohana
10:10.
Labda niseme 3:16.
Hiyo Yohana 10:10. Mwizi haji ila aibe auwe ama haribu, lakini mimi naja ili uwe na uzima na muwe nao tele. Na ndio maana tumekuja hapa kumkemea mwizi ambaye anakuja kuiba kwa njia ya ufisadi. Usijali mchungaji. Sasa nataka kuambie umeelewa maana ya ufisadi ni nini siku ya leo?
That we have been taken through by the chair and the CEO and more so by our governor. So much we have learned today, and we pray that we are going to actualize what we have heard, that we are going to put into practice so that corruption can be a thing of the past within our community, within our country, and even within our county. We pray, Lord, that you are going to empower us so that whoever is going to perpetuate this vice, that, Lord, you will speak to them. Because we know by your blood of Jesus Christ, you are able to change even those who are hardcore, and they change their ways. Bless us abundantly. Bless the governor. Bless the chair. Bless the CEO. Bless our security apparatus. Bless each and every of us. As now as we depart to go home, Lord, we pray for journey mercies. And even when we find another opportunity, we are going to speak about corruption. We are going to speak against corruption. We are going to speak about the great county of Murang'a County, so that our children and our grandchildren are going to benefit from the resources that we give within our county. And now we want to thank you, Lord, as we depart. In the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ,
and the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Naomba sote tutulie, kwa kabisa protocol iweze kuheshimiwa, itifaki